All right, guys. We're going to be talking about the case versus our president. Now, before we begin, we're going to go over a few things that are explicit. I don't know how to make this stream right here, the one where I don't know how to make it explicitly for adults only. But we're going to be talking about a few criminal terms that you guys might not feel comfortable with, like fraud, expenditures, real property. Some of you guys don't know those terms, but I'm going to teach you some. Now, you're wondering why I got this song, this Welcome to the Jungle, because it is a jungle and you're welcome to it. Now, let's begin. In order for you to understand the criminal case that's built around Donald Trump, we have to go way back to when he was an entrepreneur. We see entrepreneurs as good people because they start businesses, right? But through incentives, money, and everything, money changes a person, right? We see people who have built capital based on credit, and some that haven't, based on just money that they have invested and they have earned, and others that they haven't earned. What the thing about it is that some people just love to gather money and then try to steal more money from people who haven't earned it themselves. The thing about this criminal case that has built around Donald Trump is it's real. Like, some of these cases haven't been solved; they're still open cases, but they already been refined. Like, let's say the case versus Donald Trump with the porn star. What her name? Something Daniels. Um, Stormy Daniels. I don't watch porn, nothing like that. I don't know her name. She was paid off. Am I correct? So to stay quiet about some illicit terms, that's usually what you do because there's loopholes into the law before you go to jail. You have money, you're able to swear the judges and all that, so you can help you achieve a certain goal. Now, Donald Trump paid off this porn star to stay quiet, and the porn star broke that contract. Based on that, Donald Trump won. The thing about it is that in the beginning, when this surfaced, Donald Trump himself was saying that this wasn't true. You know, we're guys, we understand what went down, what happened, we understand that. But for him to say that, to lie, that's kind of an offensive thing to do in front of Congress when they ask them. Congress is those people like Nancy Pelosi and all that. He's wearing lights for officials like that. That's not right. Now, whether he did it or not, it's not our problem, but we want to choose a president who always tells the truth. Am I correct? When we have somebody who doesn't tell the truth, we have corruption. If it's not corruption, it's something else, um, like fraud. We have um, capital that's invested within a certain group of people, which are the actual, in a company, these people are called their shareholders. Now, when they build money, of course, when a company gets together, they decide which way to take it. They either become a profit or non-profit. Am I correct? Or a corporation. They have a difference. they have the same rights as a human being, but are not limited to the same criminal prosecutions of a human being, right? Like the corporation itself, there's a case on this. They became a human entity, like a real business, and they run that business as somebody who is in business with a social security number and all that to pay taxes like anybody. But since it's a corporation, they pay less money based on what they already paid for, like buildings, investment capital, like cars or any forfeiture. Like let's say if I buy if I buy this piece of paper and I wanted to buy it in bulk, right? That would be considered me paying already taxes on it. So they pay less than us. That's another thing. That's why they elevate businesses who are starting businesses here in the United States. Now, some people just like to gather, and not pay taxes. And Uncle Sam lets them get away with it because they employ and some don't employ. People like Donald Trump have gathered, hired illegals, and then they have worked under the table, which that is okay. Uh, this is the way America does it, trying to save money always. That's the thing. Now, Donald Trump has been in business since I forgot when, the 1990. Let's say that. Right, his father, he inherited money and he built from it. He has gone bankrupt a few times. You can't deny that. It's open records, public records, and through that hard-earned cash experience, he has built some assets that actually are worth investing in. Like let's say the hotels. He invested in, that's what they call real property. Real property is selective of what you say from what part of the land you rent from the government and what you're paying, all the way to the middle of the earth. Let's say from all the way from where you buy the hotel or that part of the land, all the way up to the center of the universe. That's real property. Now I'm not trying to be funny when I say center of the universe. I'm saying everything on top and the bottom of that land fixture is considered real property that it can be sold or earned. Now, whether somebody sells it with rights, mineral rights are everything from the ground down. Because in the ground, that could be oil. Are we talking about real property on oil? Yes, we're talking about that part. Now, whether they sell it or not within a bundle, when they're selling, when they're buying uh, land, they invest whether to build up or down. That's why when the government gives incentives when they're doing tax season and people build their house to be a certain value, they get that money back because the government loves to take homes away from people who can't afford them and then sell them as a higher price. Property value that goes up and down. Now, you gotta understand that. Now, Donald Trump, he built up his business to where the hotels, they're all over the world. You know who Donald Trump is. Even people out there in the middle of the desert know who he is. It's not like Oprah. Oprah, they know who she is, but Donald Trump actually has a business where he can run a hotel and people can come to him for business, right? Now, through this hard struggle, hardship, Donald Trump has done some shady business because if you want to have money, you have to steal money from other people. That's how it goes. If you want to have money, you have to take it away from somebody else who had the money. You got to put it in your account. Now, I'm not saying it was a shady business what he ran. No, if it was a shady business, he would have gone out of business a long time ago. It's just stuff that's done under the table, like things to to look the other way, like taking land away from people who are indigenous, like that, and poisoning water. Like let's say Ozarka starts selling water because the rivers are poisoned. That kind of shady business throughout Mexico in other countries like Russia. Trump has done some shady business as well, but we can't get our hands on it until it's like open record. Right now, that since he became president, it all has become public record because he was supposed to let go of those businesses to become a president. If he didn't let go of those businesses, it would mean he would be tied to a contract or an agreement. And an example, like they would call this what I just told you when he's tied to another business as a president. It would call it a conflict of interest, right? Um, Conflict of interest goes into play when you're already in a binding contract business, and in that business you interconnect within something else that you are tied to, like a job. A paralegal cannot go into a case where he is employed as one part of of the case as being the left. The left case would mean he's tied to that case. He's working on that case. He's helping the client, and all of a sudden the opposing counsel knows about this case, and they enter. That one paralegal won't be able to go into business. He would have to choose which one conflict before conflict of interest is actually assigned. Let's say it's built. If if conflict of interest is found, that paralegal can lose his license, or a lawyer, same thing, vice versa, or a judge, because that's what the rules, entity rules are. Now, whether they want to do it or not, that's shady business. I don't know what to say. But there's already a case open called for the Robert Mueller case. Um, if you haven't heard about it, there's some links in the description if you want to see them before we get right to the juicy business. I'm spilling the beans, and you guys are able to pick them up. Now, he wouldn't be in this criminal procedure if there wasn't something shady going on. Now, Robert Mueller is a family man, one who has been in business for, and he tells you, he loves his job. He's dedicated to it because he doesn't pick left or right. He's not a Democrat or Republican. All he does is a prosecutor, and he's good at it. He has gotten Russian intel, and he has demolished, like, let's say, people who are trying to attack the United States or whatever. He has been done a great job. I mean, you can only applaud him for what he has done, his accomplishments. He only goes against high-profile cases. So this means he's not going to go over somebody who got a ticket and evaded arrest and he didn't pay a ticket and turned to a what. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to go against somebody who is going to be a big catch. We're talking about he's going to hook somebody, and that person who gets hooked is going to be one of these. It's going to be the next. Let's say uh, it's going to be like Rocky Balboa, that kind of thing. Somebody famous, like Russian mafia type stuff. Now, the case against him that has been going on about his campaign is that when he became president, he got the help of Russian uh, officials to help him get elected, to hack networks, and and his campaign finance manager got caught. As soon as that happened, you would see the markets collide because people don't trust. People trust the Republican to help with business because they're gonna let go of regulations, government regulations. But we are talking about a president who himself knew about this criminal act that was known, that he knew was a criminal act, and he didn't do anything to stop it. That's negligence. That's another thing that we're going to get to. Whether you do nothing or not, you can be held liable for not stopping what could have been avoided before there's irreparable harm. While he was negligent over it, or he can say he didn't know anything about it. There's records, emails, texts that the NSA can gather, and they can put it out there, or that he knew or he didn't know. But whether he does the right thing or not, that's on him. Now there is a criminal procedure right now going on, and Donald Trump is trying to detract from that. He's trying to pull all this attention to something else so it can seem like Robert Mueller isn't doing anything. No, this attention is already there because it's in the markets. Whether he believes it or not, the investors are pulling out. That's what's making the Nasdaq 500 volatile. People are noticing that this is a shady business. They shouldn't have trusted him. Consumer confidence is high, but investment capital is low. They're pulling out of stocks, and they're saying it's not a something about it's a bull market. It's not a stock business anymore. Or whether it is or not, it's just what happened there was shady. But the thing about it is that we are going to find out at the end. Everything that is done in dark comes to light, right? Now he's involved in a few things with the obstruction of justice by firing a few people who were already on that case to find out what was going on. Uh, the last successful case of this, I'm not saying Miller did it, but I'm saying on this was when President Nixon was assigned as a president, and he himself fired somebody who was gonna bring justice to the table. They fire people over, and that's smart because then if you don't like that person who's if you don't like that police who top cop who is going to bring justice on you, then you fire him. Like that's not supposed to be. It's legal to do it. It is illegal when there's already a criminal procedure underway, and the only one who can stop this, what they were saying is the person who hired him can only stop it. Congress hired Robert Mueller to do this job. Only Congress can fire him. I'm not saying the Attorney General can, but they can put limitations, which is right. A real criminal procedure will have no end. It will have all the resources, everything ready to go, and at the end, they will present evidence to Congress, and Congress will make a decision whether to impeach or, which if it's high treason, and I'm afraid he's gonna have to stand as a duty as a president, he would have to stand in front of a barricade of guns and receive his diligent duty as a president who committed high treason and receive bullets and end it, unfortunately. But if you guys don't believe that this case is already high profile, and those Russians who Donald Trump himself calls it fake, but the evidence is already there. People have already submitted, people already given cases, and sooner or later somebody's going to testify in Congress and know about all this. Now we're gonna see who the real good guys are and bad guys, and whether they stand for the law or don't stand for the law. Because you would say that president isn't considered above the law, but they do something else otherwise, then they themselves, our leaders, won't look so good, and we're gonna have to not elect them anymore. They say Trump is gonna win in 2020, but I disagree. The reason he got elected is because of Hillary. What Hillary did to Bernie. Bernie could have won, but they by force wanted Hillary to win, to be there, and people were mad. They voted for Trump just to spite Hillary. You know, now these workers woke up. These people are gonna vote, and they're gonna know what's going on. Demographics are gonna change, like always, and we're gonna see what happens now. The criminal procedure is gonna be ongoing. The Supreme Court, and the link in the description, there's a story you should read. I'm not gonna read it for you. I'm not gonna tell you that. All I'm gonna say is that in order for you to get an extension on a case, to use taxpayer money, you have to have good reason, because we're talking about millions and millions of taxpayer money that they held accountable. They hold accountable that I pay taxes, that you pay taxes, the grandchildren that haven't been born are gonna pay taxes on, because we're in debt. Fortunately, for every family there's a $60,000 in debt that they're gonna have to pay. If this debt was paid in full, that means that we won't pay tax anymore because there's no debt. We don't owe anybody. It's our money. It's our money. But we do need to we do need to find a way not to spend any money that we don't have, especially when we're broke. You know, I'm not saying cut from the military budget. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we gotta find better ways to invest without spending this. We might have to raise taxes all the way to offset every spending habit that we have. Maybe Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has the right idea to tax higher for the incentives, because some companies don't pay taxes. They should. But if she does tax, she should tax poor, middle class, and upper class the same way, because it's all on us to get out of this debt. Am I correct? I mean, but if you guys go ahead and read the stories on the link in the description, guys, or whatever you guys think. Write it down in the comments, like and subscribe. Let me know if you guys think this is good intel. You guys think he's gonna get impeached? Is he gonna be criminally held accountable, or are they gonna bankrupt the country and then he's gonna try to get away with this? What do you guys think? Give me a thumbs down. I don't know. Sayonara.